make the city run better, in eliminating some legislation that probably shouldn't have been there or adjusting it so it works better, trying to provide better services to the citizens of Albuquerque. I think that's our job. That's what we're there to do, and we've been reasonably successful, plus we've made it a far more civil body than it was 4 years ago. And that's what we're supposed to do. You know, we don't always agree on the council, but I think most of us like each other as people, and at least we have respect for each other outside of the council also. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Are there particular initiatives that you feel really good about that you've gotten across in your time as a councilor?
There are a few good ones, yes. We have been very successful in helping with the police department in their programs, with after-school programs, with some social issues that are very important that most people don't even know they're happening unless you're touched by them personally. But we've been successful in getting some money transferred, and we've tried to do some of those things. But the biggest things facing Albuquerque, of course, are jobs. The second is education, which ties right in with jobs. Unfortunately, the city of Albuquerque has very little impact on education, other than the help that we offer with after-school care, some of the programs that we help fund for at-risk youth, trying to keep them in school. We help quite a bit, and we keep funding those and trying to help as much as we can with education. It's a huge problem, not only in Albuquerque, but with all of the problems of the city face. It's nationwide. I think that's one of the biggest problems.
And what are the particular issues in your district?
You know, we're very blessed in our district. District 8 is a very comfortable, finished district. Our roads are in good shape. Our medians are all landscaped. We're working right now on some of the services for the district because we are an aging district. Bear Canyon Senior Center is in District 8 and offers huge services to the, I hate to say elderly because I qualify for my membership there, but huge services to people who need some help with them. Great classes, great meals, places to meet, keep their brains stimulated. So we're working on and have started now a renovation of that center. That's a big, big thing to the community, and it touches the outlying districts also. Very big thing. Interestingly, the center is 25 to 30 years old. It has an original roof and still has adaptive cooling. And even more interesting, which just makes me chuckle when I think about it, the bathrooms aren't ADA accessible, nor was the building under current rules. So that's the kind of thing we look at, what needs to be fixed. We don't have a true community center in District 8. So we are working on converting an open air type of shelter into a community center that can offer, right now it does offer a lot of after school daycare. But we have, again, a changing profile of the community around that center. And we're trying to upgrade it so that it will offer services during the day, not just for the elderly. This isn't just a senior center, just for everyone in the community. Meeting rooms, library, computer labs, places to meet. It's difficult in District 8 to find any place to have a shower or a birthday party. And an inside location. So that's the kind of thing we're doing, just trying to make it a better quality of life for the people there. And of course, both of these centers are open citywide. It's not just restricted to District 8. But we do find that people who use the facilities tend to go to the one nearest them. The council should guide and encourage. We do have a police chief who answers to the mayor. The council should certainly be aware of what's happening and going on, but I don't believe it's necessarily their job to try to micromanage and direct that department.
Did you vote in favor of or against the Department of Justice, calling for the Department of Justice to investigate in the Officer Roshi?
I voted against that for a couple of reasons, most especially the procedural method, which I believe is a violation of our policies and procedures.
The procedure of
introducing that
into
into... Yes. And I do believe, we already know, we've seen the newspapers, we've all read the newspapers, probably yours, that the Department of Justice is already looking into the situation. I'm not sure that we want or need, I'm not sure of that yet, because of the PERF report, which is very independent. Had some great ideas, the police department is following those. I'm not sure that the Department of Justice can solve the issue. So I think most especially I wasn't in for it because of the procedural issues. And I think that this is something that we can solve.
And also there was a vote for looking into Darren White and the situation with his wife. Where did you land on that?
I voted to have the Inspector General look at it for two reasons. First, there's been so much press on it that maybe isn't accurate. You know how things kind of get blown up after they've been talked about a few times.
Sure.
I have great faith in Judge Egan, the independent review officer, the IRO, as we call him, great faith in him. But because the perception, I believe, was at the point where he had been defamed so much, this is the judge, that it was predetermined that anything that he said was not going to be true or accurate, it was going to be influenced by other people. I don't believe that. But perception is probably about 95% what people believe. So I did vote to have the Inspector General take a look at this. Two reasons: because of the judge's defamation, and also because the Inspector General is already in the employ of the city, and we didn't have to go outside for another contract, which would be very difficult because of the rights for interviews and information and everything. So I did vote for that. I believe that right now, this is a very tough time in the world, but in our city also, and we need jobs. We need jobs, we need jobs, we need jobs. And most of the jobs in the city of Albuquerque are either government, which we don't need any more of those, or private sector, small business. We can't create jobs, but we can certainly get out of the way legislatively and let the small businesses and the entrepreneurs, we have a huge entrepreneurial community here. We just need to make it easier for them to start business, to run business, to hire people, and to create jobs.
What particular ways can we get out of their way? Like, what can the city do to get the businesses to have a chance to
Great question. It's a very difficult process to get permits, to get a business started, to do, you won't necessarily understand, to do any kind of work on it, to do tenant improvements, to do something that just is off the line a little bit from the norm. We need to make all those processes easier, because time is money for small business. Time is money for all business people. And we just need to make it easier without affecting negatively the rules that are in place, without affecting the quality of what we do in the city or what we demand, but make the processes easier. I think the mayor's doing an excellent job. I think, as all of us do when we get in a new position, we make a couple little mistakes every once in a while, but he's stuck to what he stands for, and that is a better Albuquerque and jobs and a business-like atmosphere. He is very adamant about not having layoffs in the city, and I think he's done a great job of that. He's also cut the budget by close to $180 million. I appreciate that, and I've been pleased to be associated with that process. I think we are protecting our employees and keeping them employed. Unfortunately, in order to do that, we weren't able to give the raises that some people want, but they are employed, and the benefits are still there, and that was the goal, and the city's still in business.
Your opponent, Doug Payne, says that he would reduce government spending. Do you see places where government spending can be reduced even further?
Of course, if that's the step you want to take. It's very easy to do layoffs. It's very easy to do layoffs. That's the largest expense that the city has, is employment, is labor. So would I do that? No. Is it possible? Of course.
Something that he brought up was that where an area where he would cut waste was the no contracts, and something that Barry said coming in to the city was that he was gonna stop doing those closed, contract bids. Is that something that you were also concerned with?
I believe most of the bid process follows our rules. I just was pleased to get to serve on a bid process to see inside it. We don't get to be inside it very much to see what happens. I think the process works very well. I believe if you, I'm not sure what my opponent is talking about, but if you start trying to bid everything that's done in the city, you have a quagmire of bids and you get nothing done. And there's the point where you have to set a limit and do the work. Or we could spend our lifetime bidding.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there's a partisan divide developing on the council? And do you feel that you're able to work with other councilors to get your initiatives through?
I don't believe there's any more of a partisan divide on the council today than there was 2 years ago when there was a different profile. It's just a different number.
Different balance?
Different balance. So I think he who is most outspoken about whether it's a divide probably is the minority number on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do I think it's there? No, I don't. Am I able to work with other councilors to get things done? Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't always agree, but we certainly have the ability to talk to each other and explain our position on issues. And at any given time, I will agree with the councilor who has good legislation. All depends to me on the legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Not who presents it, not whether it's right or left. If it's good legislation, it's good for the city, then I support it.
What do you think of your opponent?
I think he's a very bright man, and I think has a lot of time. He's walking the streets and knocking on doors, which is great. And if I were totally unemployed and didn't serve the city as a